Ozark mountain herbalists have asked me to compare the culinary uses of our various Plantago species that we find here. I've already done a video comparing the medicinal uses of ribwort plantain and broadleaf plantain, so if you missed that one, be sure to watch it, and I'll put a link to it in the comments section. So let's start off with the herbal database, and for subscribers, you'll be able to pull up all of this information yourselves, and I'm going to show you one of the ways to find it. If you look at the menu section, start by pulling up Foraging and Wildcrafting menu, and then we're going to click on Miscellaneous Edible Wild Plants. We have 1,300 of them in the database, and Plantago will be in the section for all of the plants that start with the letter P. And let's scroll down. Plantago Edible Use Comparison. We're going to compare 5 of the species that grow in the Ozarks: Plantago major, rugelii, virginica, lanceolata, and aristata. In this section, we're just talking about their culinary use. If you want to know how to identify them, just click on the link that'll take you to that plant in the database where you'll get all of the identification cues. So starting off with broadleaf plantain. That's one that I think almost all of you are familiar with. It's the most common plantain. As far as its edible uses, it's the best edible species, with large fleshy leaves. Young leaves can be eaten raw. Older leaves can be cooked. The midribs can be cut out and used as flat noodles. The seeds are edible. They make a mild mucilage thickener, and they're excellent for bulk greens. As far as their sensory notes, think mild, green, slightly bitter, and softens well with cooking. Here are the habitat cues. Look for it on lawns, roadsides, compacted soil, barnyards, and disturbed ground. It is the most common Plantago in northwest Arkansas. Next we come to Plantago rugelii, Rugel's plantain. And I'm going to click on that one because I bet most of you aren't familiar with it. It's also called black-seeded plantain. Here's what it looks like. And here are its identification cues. Look at the petiole base color. Here's where a key difference is. It looks very similar to Plantago major or broadleaf, but the petiole base is going to be a different color. It's often reddish to purple, where the leaf stalk meets the root crown. Plantago majors is typically green. The leaves are broadly oval to elliptic, sometimes slightly more elongated than broadleaf. It has smooth margins and distinct parallel veins that are strongly raised on the underside. Its leaf surface is generally smooth. It could be slightly shiny, and it can yellow slightly in drought. It's got a basal rosette, and the leaves are spreading outward close to the ground. As far as its habitat goes, it often favors slightly moisture disturbed soils, but still in open, sunny to part sun sites. Its inflorescence consists of slender leafless stalks with dense cylindrical spikes of many tiny greenish white flowers, and the seeds are dark brown to black, giving rise to the common name black-seeded plantain. And here is a quick comparison between rugelii and broadleaf. Here's a field cue. If you see red-purple at the petiole base and very dark blackish seeds, you're almost certainly looking at Rugels. Now let's go back to our comparison. Rugels is used identically to broadleaf. Its leaves are going to be slightly thinner, but they're still good cooked. The seeds and mucilage are usable, and the midribs are tender when young. As far as its sensory notes, it's similar to broadleaf, but slightly stronger green flavor. It often replaces Plantago major in wetter soils. It is at risk, so if you find it, save the seed and plant more. Avoid using if you only find one or very small stand. Our next one is a plant that you've seen many times. I'm sure you've probably walked right by it and not thought anything of it because it's so small. Plantago virginica. Let's click on it. Recognize that plant? This one is edible, but obviously a low-yield plant. Tiny leaves, best as a garnish or a minor cooked green. The seeds are edible, small but nutritious. Mucilage is present but minimal. It's going to be mild, slightly bitter, and quickly fibrous. It's best used when very young. You'll find it on dry, sandy, or rocky openings, glades, compacted trails, and it's very common in Ozark uplands and glade margins. And then we have our familiar ribwort plantain, Plantago lanceolata. Its leaves are edible, but tougher than Plantago major. Those leaves are going to be best chopped and cooked. The flower spikes are edible when young, and they have a mild mushroom-like flavor. The seeds are edible and a good mucilage source. It's going to be herbal tasting, grassy, and fibrous. And the flower spikes have a pleasant umami note. You'll find it in pastures, roadsides, dry meadows, and it's abundant in grazed or open areas. And finally we come to Plantago aristata. That's called the Bracted Plantain or Western Plantain. Let's click on this one. Okay, so this one is edible, but it's very small and fibrous. The leaves are only useful when extremely young. The seeds are edible, tiny but nutritious. This one's primarily going to be a trail nibble or famine food. You'll find it tastes quite dry, grassy, and quickly tough. This is really not a culinary species, but more of a safe edible. You'll find it in dry prairies, sandy soils, disturbed open ground. It occurs in western Ozark foothills and sandy patches. So here's an edible use ranking for practical Ozark foraging, from best to least practical. The best, of course, is our common plantain, Plantago major. There you have the best bulk green and the best texture. Rugels has the same uses with a slightly stronger flavor. Lanceolata is good cooked with great flower spikes. Virginica is tiny and best used as a garnish or seed source. And aristata is edible, but not really culinarily valuable. And here are some Ozark habitat anchors. Now let's go to the Plantain Recipes and get an idea of how to use this. For both Plantago major and Plantago rugeli, think of making leaf chips, just like kale chips, oven-baked or dehydrated with olive oil and sea salt. Of course, wild salads use young leaves with lemony dressings or fermented toppings. You can also make an infused vinegar. Steep the leaves in apple cider vinegar for a tangy medicinal base. And you can use them to make an herbal pesto, blended with garlic, nuts, and olive oil. We'll skip the medicinal. You can use them topically and cosmetic. You can use them on your pets and in livestock, treating flea bites, hot spots, and minor wounds in dogs and cats when infused into oil. Foraging and processing tips: harvest young leaves in the spring or early summer. Dry flat in a warm, shaded area, or use a dehydrator on low. Avoid roadside or trampled plants. Look for clean, wild patches. Now over on the left you see some recipes. Let's take a look at those flower spikes. That's the flower of ribwort plantain. It makes a delicious umami tasting dish. Here's the recipe. 2 cups of young Plantago lanceolata flower spikes, freshly gathered, a tablespoon of olive oil or butter, 2 cloves garlic, pinch of salt, lemon juice, mild vinegar, black pepper. And here are the instructions. What else can you do with plantain? Let's take a look. You can make plantain and garlic soup. You can make plantain leaf dolmas. You may be familiar with Greek dolmas made with grape leaves. You can do the same thing with plantain leaves if they're large enough. You just briefly blanch them and then fill them with cooked rice, sauteed mushrooms or ground meat, 2 tablespoons lemon juice, dried mint, salt, and pepper. Blanch the leaves 30 seconds. Fill with rice mixture, roll tightly, and steam 15 to 20 minutes. Serve warm with yogurt or tahini sauce. And these hold shape beautifully. You can make plantain leaf pesto. You can make plantain seed cracker crisps. Gather a half a cup of plantain seeds, a half cup sunflower seeds, rolled oats, oil, water, salt, and herbs. Mix everything into a thick batter, spread thin on a baking sheet, bake 325 degrees for 25 to 35 minutes till crisp and break into shards. Oh, we have one more I want to show you. Plantain stem and potato hash. Here you're going to use the leaf midribs, the crunchy tracts for texture. Gather midribs from 20 to 30 mature plantain leaves, 3 medium potatoes diced, a small onion, 2 tablespoons oil or butter. Use salt, pepper, and smoked paprika. Saute potatoes till brown. Add onion and chopped midribs. Cook till midribs soften slightly but keep their snap. Season well. That's going to taste earthy, nutty, like a cross between celery and green beans. In closing, I want to draw your attention to important guidelines about foraging that you'll find in this section on foraging. Briefly, number 1 rule, education and identification. Only harvest and eat what you can identify with 100% certainty. If in doubt, leave it out. Use multiple, reliable sources. Start simple. Begin with easy-to-identify species. Next, on preparation and harvesting, research before you're going. Harvest sustainably. Take only what you need and will use. Leave plenty behind for wildlife, reproduction, and other foragers. Forage in clean areas away from roadsides, sprayed fields, industrial sites, or dog parks. Prefer pristine woods parks where allowed, or private land with permission. And of course, we want to observe safety protocols. Never forage alone, especially as a beginner. 2 or more sets of eyes are safer, and tell somebody where you're going. Condition checks. Take only healthy, fresh specimens. Avoid damaged, buggy, or moldy ones. In testing new foods, when trying something new, start with a small cooked portion. Wait 24 hours to check for reactions. And then, of course, dress appropriately. For ticks, snakes, poison ivy, bring water and check weather. There may be legal and ethical considerations, so know the rules. Foraging is often restricted in state parks, national forests, or private land. Get permission where needed. And some areas prohibit it or limit quantities. And then stewardship is essential. Favor abundant or invasive species when possible. Avoid rare endemic plants, and leave the area better than you found it.